Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. We got a great topic. We're talking about buying and selling a home at the same time and how you can keep those things in sync. If you can hear me okay, if you don't mind, just go ahead and type yes or okay in the comments. That way I know everything's working great. And if you, before we do get started, just want to say if you're really serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice, point you in the right direction. And to do that, you can go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled with us. Okay, so let's get started. What we're talking about is buying a home and selling a home at the same time. If you got to sell your current house to buy the next house, you're going to want those two things to happen close together. And because they have to happen close together and they rarely start at the same time, it can get kind of stressful. If this is the process you're going through, you might start to worry if things slow down with the sale of your home. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And if you are just joining us, I just want to say, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice, point you in the right direction. Okay? You can go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled with us. And let's get back to what we were talking about, which is buying and selling at the same time. Let's say that you put your house up for sale and you have accepted an offer, and you're still, the buyer of your home is still in their contingency period. In other words, they could cancel and get the earnest money back. And let's also say that you've found a replacement home. You love this house. It's beautiful. It's everything that you're looking for. It checks off all the boxes. And now you're in escrow on that house. And because you've got to sell one house to get into the next house, you got to find some kind of way to keep those two things in sync. And that can be challenging because they're two separate processes, but they are, somewhat connected in that one's got to close before the other, and then you got to keep them a few days apart. Okay, so we've kind of set the stage. Let's say that you've found a buyer for your home, and now the buyer has done their inspections on the home, and they've come back and they say, "Hey, I want to get a credit, or I want a price reduction." We've seen that before. We list a lot of houses, and we've seen where the buyer for the property that we listed and got in escrow, the buyer comes back and says, "Hey, I want $40,000 off, or I want $20,000 off, or $10,000 off." Any kind of number can happen because you're dealing with a buyer that, who knows what their opinion of the property is. Then they get the inspection back, and they may feel like they were getting a good deal, but now they don't feel like they're getting a good deal. Or they could feel like they're getting a good deal, but they're just trying to see if they can get the price down or get some kind of money towards a credit. And that's what we're talking about here, because on the purchase of your next home, you're already in escrow on that house. And if you have to start over with a new buyer for your house, let's say that that buyer for your house says, "I want $10,000 or else I'm going to cancel." If you don't have any offers other than just that one offer that you accepted, then you might kind of feel like your back is against the wall and you don't have a lot of options. You may feel like, "Hey, I need to discount the price of the house or give them this credit, the seller concessions." That may be something that you kind of feel like you're forced into a corner because you really want to close on your dream home, but you only got one offer. And that's what we're going to get into a little bit of detail today with, is if you have multiple offers on your house, if you had the marketing right, the pricing right, everything went great, and you got multiple offers, which is, two people that want to buy your house at the same time, then you're in a totally different situation if this scenario pops up where somebody wants a big amount of money for a request for repairs. If you've got extra offers, you know it, but they know it too. That person that's in escrow in your house, they understand that you've got other options. You've got people that wanted to buy the home, and they know that you can just as easily go back to them. It's only been a week or two since they made their offer, so they probably haven't found the house yet. It's possible that if they cancel, you can just go back to them. And so now you've got some leverage. those leftover offers are going to give you leverage. Number one, it's going to let the buyer of your property that's asking for this extra money from you, it's going to, they know that you have those offers. It gives you more leverage dealing with them. But if they do cancel, let's say that they want $10,000 in concessions and you're not willing to give them $10,000, then they may cancel. If they cancel, you've got those leftover offers. You can go back to those people and say, hey, we fell out of escrow and the house is available again. And if you got multiple offers, there's a good chance you can find your buyer without having to actually market the property again. And so that means you can put that buyer into escrow. You can maybe do a little bit of negotiation with the property that you're going to buy to make up for the time difference there, but you're not talking about a difference of weeks or getting slowed down by weeks because you have to go back onto the market. So what does this really mean? Like, what's the point to all of this? The point is, if you set up the house properly, so it's marketed properly and priced properly so that you get more than one offer, you get multiple offers, ideally, 3, 4, 5 offers, that's going to give you some leverage later on in the process when you're trying to get through escrow on the sale of your home and get through escrow on the purchase of your next home. It's going to help you to keep things in sync 2 ways. The first way is it's going to give you some leverage with the buyer of the home. So the buyer comes in and says, hey, I want this discount. You've got leverage with them because they know you have other offers to fall back on. The second thing is if that buyer does cancel, there's a good chance you can get right back into escrow with another buyer that's really excited about your home without ever having to, remarket the property. And so that's going to allow you to stay into escrow on the purchase of your next home. And that's what this is really all about. If you're just joining us, just want to let you know, hey, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And to schedule a time with us, you can just go to showcasecall.com. All right, so we're just wrapping it up, and real quick, if you're buying and selling at the same time and you've got to sell your current house to buy the next house, you're going to have to keep those 2 things together. Sometimes it's tough to keep them together because they're 2 separate transactions. They're not one big transaction. They're 2 separate processes. So they rarely start at the same time. So to get them to end around the same time, does require some finesse. And if you're in escrow on the sale of your house and the buyer comes to you and says, hey, we've done our inspections and we want $10,000 off the price or $5,000 credit, or we want you to make all of these repairs, and it's like $15,000 worth of repairs. You as the seller, you can say yes to that or no to that or anything in between. Or actually, even as the seller, you don't even have to reply. But if you have multiple offers, the buyer knows that you have other offers to fall back on. So now you've got some negotiating leverage. And then also, if you have multiple offers, if that buyer does, take off, if they do cancel, then you're able to go back to those buyers and probably get the house back into escrow pretty quick so that it doesn't affect the purchase of your dream home that you're already into escrow on. And that's going to relieve a lot of stress. Let me tell you, having multiple offers on your house is a great feeling. It gives you a lot of confidence going into the process and can be a real help for you. And if this kind of stuff interests you, give us a call. We'd love to see what we could do to help you. You might want us to help you buy. You might want us to help you buy or sell. You may not. Either way is cool. We're happy to just give you some advice, point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time to talk. All right. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. Take care.